So, welcome everyone to this new AMA. In this case, we're Curl, right? You have many of you have already joined us for past M&A that we have done. All of them with projects that are building in Milkomeda C1 in some specific cases. And in this case, we have actually a really cool project because the story of it is interesting. We're really going to talk a little about it. But before that, let me just give you some insight, some hint, and also introduce myself. So my name is Caro Rossi. I'm the CMO of This is Spark. We are core collaborators on Milkomeda. And during this A&A, the idea is that we actually guide you to how to use, in this case, curl. With us, we have today joining us, we have Sebastian or Sev Korman and Alexis Lukashin, who are welcome and who are two of the leads people behind curls. So welcome, Seb, and welcome, Alexi. How is everything?
Welcome to you. Oh no, thanks for having us. So we're
Yeah,
doing great. Happy to be here and talk about curl.
Perfect. So I was just looking at some the timeline of curl related to, of course, Milkomeda, and basically the first deployment of the testnet of curl happened like around June 6th, and then the last one, correct me if I'm right, happened around mid of July, right? So this is kind of a process of how curl have been working through Milkomeda C1. But before extending on it, I want you to ask you, Seb, directly, what is curl?
Yes, so curl in very simple terms is a new type of ecosystem player. A new ecosystem player that borrows some of the characteristics from DEXs, from bridges, and all the other type of players that you would typically see on an ecosystem. Why is it new? Because we are addressing a problem that is becoming increasingly important, especially in the world of L2s and DeFi. The problem that we're addressing is the one of liquidity fragmentation, and liquidity fragmentation really caused by bridges that on the one hand side, of course, and we call it the gift and the curse of bridges, on the one hand side bring tremendous liquidity onto ecosystems, but at the same time also increase the fragmentation of different types of tokens that are bridged onto an L2 ecosystem. How it works, we're going to explain later. That's just for the introduction.
Perfect. So it was almost, or I would say, I mean, 2 months ago, almost 2 months ago, when you first deploy the testnet on Milkomeda C1, right? Targeting the Cardano ecosystem in this specific case. What would you say are the main highlights so far? How have your experience been? What have you seen?
I think there have been a couple of highlights. So I think the one of the uh, first highlights was that we really set up this collaboration between Blueshift and Occam to create Curl, because Curl is, of course, on the one hand side, technology-wise, solution-wise, a completely novel player, but it's built on existing solutions, including Blueshift and technology and insights, knowledge networks from Occam. And it also builds on the infrastructure that we as two project have developed before. So it's a new type of, it's a joint DAO between Blueshift and Occam. And one of the first highlights, to come back to your question, was that we really decided to go together in addressing the problem of liquidity fragmentation together.
So I'm gonna take that topic because it has to do a little with the history, or like, why are you doing this and how come this came to life, right? We have had other M&A with Blue Shift, we have had with OCamX as well. We have actually interacted before specifically with Blue Shift in some other, I think it was around February. So
Mhm.
the question is obvious. I mean, how has it been working together? How would you define uniting these forces of Blue Shift, also OCamX, into building curl?
So actually very simple. We as Blueshift were incubated by Occam, and it was a very successful collaboration. And during all these conversations, um, in the journey towards our launch, we realized that this problem of liquidity fragmentation is one that, of course, is naturally or organically emerging from the types of DEXs that we have built. So apart from the launch of Blueshift and OccamX, and apart from this collaboration as Blueshift and us being part of Occam as the incubator, we already realized that there's a new, bigger problem emerging, the one of liquidity fragmentation, that we both thought that we have to address in a very unique way. And this unique way of addressing the problem really is then the joint DAO that we've created between Occam and Blue Shift.
Perfect. And just to follow up a little about that question, and also to provide some information if whoever watched this and is kind of new also to Milkomeda. So as you many or most of you know, Milkomeda is an L2 protocol that provides EVM capabilities to non-EVM blockchain. And having said so, Milkomeda C1, which is specifically the one that Curl is integrating with, is of course focusing Cardano. So my question now, finally, Seb, is before jumping to the demo, is why Milkomeda?
Yeah, very simple answer to simple answer comprising different elements. So first of all, Milkomeda is our home turf of Blue Shift and Occam X. We've had a very good collaboration with Milkomeda from the very beginning. And so when you build this new type of ecosystem player, all these collaborations and partnerships that you have around you in an ecosystem are really important. So of course you want to work closely with the bridges to make it a secure and smoothly running solution. You want to work closely together with the liquidity providers. You want to work with the existing community to also validate whether the project, the idea, or the idea for the solution makes sense. So it's in that sense, the perfect, in the beginning, playground, no launchpad or area to launch our project. And again, it's really also the strength and one of the big advantages of Curl as a project, that so many ecosystem players are directly involved, and it's in that sense more of a joint effort than a standalone project, and Milkomeda in that sense a perfect starting ground.
Well, it partly answers kind of what you guys can provide or you're bringing to the Cardano ecosystem through Milkomeda. And I think that the other part of the answer will also be seen now, understood better in the demo. So let's jump into the demo. Let's understand and see better how Curl works. We're gonna, for everybody that is listening, we're gonna actually share a video that is explanatory video, and then we may answer some between us. Maybe you never know. Sometimes I have another question. You guys want to comment something to the community.
Wait a second. Maybe some words before the demo, because so what this demo shows is not only the curl as solution itself, but also how it can be integrated to existing solutions. So it starts out with the problem of liquidity fragmentation, exemplified by Occam X with the pairs, and then we zoom into curl as a solution to show how it works, what the unique features are, and eventually explain what the benefits are. And for this, we will use Blue Shift. So also this video shows the close interconnections between the different projects, between the different players, and also how, and well, not also, but specifically how it really creates value for the existing players.
Perfect. So we have the video here. I'm gonna ask, and we're gonna play the video, and then afterward we can jump also and add any comments that we would like. So let's see how this works.
Hi everybody. In this video, we will explain what curl is and share a demo of how it works. The main problem curl is addressing is liquidity fragmentation. But what is liquidity fragmentation and why is it a problem, especially for layer 2s? What you see here is that we have multiple networks and multiple bridges. Bridges transfer the token, in this case USDT, from layer 1 networks to layer 2 networks. In this process, every bridge creates their own synthetic version of the USDT token. This means that instead of one USDT version, we now have multiple versions that cannot be interchanged. They are not fungible. Since the different bridged versions of USDT are not fungible, capital efficiency and user experience are significantly reduced. Curl is addressing the problem of liquidity fragmentation by concentrating the available liquidity and creating a universal token called HUSDT that is fungible with all underlying tokens. With this, you can say that Curl is leveraging the advantages of bridges, bringing more liquidity to networks while removing one of their core weaknesses, liquidity fragmentation. To make the problem Curl is addressing clear, let's look at the example of a.k.a, a DEX on Milkomeda. What you can see here is that the same pairs of tokens, in this case USDC and USDT, exist twice. Once as a pair of tokens bridged by multi-chain, and once as a pair of tokens bridged by Seller. With the help of Curl, a.k.a can now integrate the two pairs and create one pair with significantly more liquidity. More liquidity reduces price slippage and creates a better user experience. In the MVP of Curl, we have a special swap page that allows several operations. For example, we can select the token that we want to homogenize and swap. This function is called hswap, and to clarify the process, let us select USDT. Next, we add some liquidity by adding a bridged asset such as CUSDT that was bridged by Seller. After the wallet is connected, we can select the amount of liquidity we want to swap into the homogenized or universal token of HUSDT, in this case, 100. Then we press swap and wait for a few seconds. Once the operation is complete, we receive two types of tokens, not only 99.9 HUSDT, but also a certain amount of Curl tokens as a premium. The Curl token is our governance and rewards token. The application not only allows us to deposit liquidity, but also receive it back. This operation costs a certain fee in Curl tokens. Third, we can also use the application to swap bridge tokens directly and more efficiently. Now, since we have successfully received some homogenized tokens, we can use it on other DEXs such as Blueshift. What you can see on this screen is a portfolio with multiple tokens, the Curl portfolio on Blueshift. Here, we can use our universal token to add some liquidity to the portfolio. On the right-hand side, we can now select the tokens we prefer and invest our universal token into the broader Curl portfolio.
So we should have the video already finished. So I think we have a kind of explanation of how it works. Is there anything that you believe that maybe is not that clear in the video, or maybe people that are usually questions that you guys get that could make it easier for someone that watch this, so then they can actually understand how to use the protocol?
What exactly do you mean? So do you think more of on aspects on the side of advantages that we provide, or the way it is used? In which
No,
direction?
I was referring to the way it is used, so it's in a more practical way, because this was a practical video, so then people can actually see it and imagine. But then any other recommendation, if someone is a newcomer, I would be like, oh wow, I wanna use Core, to interact with Blueshift, or for example.
Yeah, of course. So it actually it has different advantages, and one of them is especially on the side of user experience. So of course, when you're new to a market, when you're new to DeFi, and you're basically overwhelmed by the different tokens, by the different options to invest, by the different pairs, or by the different portfolios. And on top of this, you have this alphabet soup of different types of tokens that are bridged onto the ecosystem. As we've seen in the video, so there are different types of USDTs, USDCs, and you do not really know what's the difference, and you do not really know if investing into the one or other portfolio, into the one or other pool, creates a difference for you as a user in terms of rewards and terms of risk, or whatever is involved. And this is extremely simplified by Curls, because afterwards, and that's the idea, there's only going to be one homogenized version of one specific token that can be used across all the different DEXs, so that you don't have to decide which pair, which portfolio to invest in, depending on the bridge, depending on other factors than just the token itself.
Perfect. Great. So we're gonna remove the video now, right? From here, and we're all here. And basically, just to wrap up, I will have the three main last points. So the first one is anything that you would like to provide to the Milkomeda community that will eventually watch this video. That's my first question. The second one is, what's the call to action to just go and start using curl, right? Which it was kind of said, but I want you to say like a motivational quote, let us say. And then the last one is kind of an invitation of how this is going to support the ecosystem. You kind of said it at the beginning, but just to make it more clear.
Well, let me summarize all three. So all three in the sense that, so DeFi is new. DeFi is, I think, going to be the driver of the next bull run. And we see a lot of new users, new liquidity providers, new players emerging. And with Curl, we're really at the forefront of this because it really combines the best of two different parties that bring in complementary skills. On the one hand side, technology, and yeah, the knowledge from Blue Shift, and on the other side, the network, the experience, the deep knowledge of how ecosystems function and the broad perspective from Occam. And those two combined create Curl as a new ecosystem player, which is supposed to help entire ecosystems and all the different players that are involved, the DEXs, the market makers, the bridges, and create a unique and central player which benefits not only the existing ecosystem players, but especially the people that are new to DeFi that want to have a simple solution to turn all the different tokens they might have in a portfolio into a more standardized, streamlined version, and thereby also simplify their simplify their operations as the ones actively using DeFi solutions, maybe retail or institution types of the investors on a daily basis.
In the case, and I would also like, Alexi, if anything that you would like to, any insights or maybe even some comments that you would like to share with the community, maybe of the technical process behind as well, anything that you would like to share?
Of course. So we are working hard, and recently we finished the protocol. So it's currently being audited, and as soon as we have the results of the audit and make sure that everything works properly, we will go live. And we expect going live somewhere in September or maybe early October. And also we are working on the user interface, and we are going to provide a lot of different nice options for our users, liquidity providers, and just people who want to swap in an easy way different assets. And I also would like to mention that Curl allows to benefit twice for liquidity providers. So because if you're coming with some bridged assets, you put it before to the Curl and you are getting rewards already. And then you can take this universal homogenized token and then put it to some DEX, for example, and also be rewarded here. So I think it's a very good incentive for them to use Curl, and also with the help of OCamX and Blue Shift, we will make it working in the ecosystem.
Perfect. Well, thank you very much. I think this is I think it's a correct and good guide, kind of guide, let's say online guide for whoever would like to try the protocol. Eventually, of course, we're gonna wait until it goes live, but it's usually also important to actually do your own research, understand what they are doing, why you guys are doing this. The story behind is super interesting. It shows a really strong how forces unite from the same ecosystem. We have our ConnectMex, Blue Shift, now all of them integrating through Milkomeda C1. So I think it's a very interesting story as well. So congratulations for the work and for being able to unite forces. And thank you very much for joining us. And thank you everybody who will watch this video later in time, as we know, but eventually we hope that it's useful for the whole community. Any last words, Seth or Alex?
Shall I go first? Now, first of all, thanks, Caro, for having us. Thanks for all the tremendous support from Milkomeda in this whole process, also from the very beginning. And to the community, yeah, like Caro said, just follow us on Twitter or join our Discord channel. There are continuous updates. We always provide explanations, more detailed explanations on how curl actually works. Reviewing this material definitely helps to get a better understanding of the problem that we're addressing, because it's going to be one of the biggest problems that we will be facing as DEXs or everyone being involved in the DeFi world of the future. So stay tuned, follow us, and very happy to see you again in the future.
Thank you. And you can always reach us directly in Discord and ask any questions, or we can set up a demo or set up test environment to see how it works.
Perfect. Thank you, Seb. Thank you, Lexis, for joining us. And thank you for the whole Curl team behind, Blue Chip team as well, and OCAMX. Thank you very much. And thank you, everyone, for joining. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.